Hello and welcome back to my podcast. My name is Emily and I am Revived Yarns here on YouTube and Instagram, and Emily1116 on Ravelry. I have been away for a long time. I think the last podcast was October because in November we had some crazy flooding plus the holidays. But anyway, our basement flooded. And so we've been dealing with that for months. So we just got a sump pump put in and we have to wait 30 days for the concrete to cure before they can finish the floors. And then we have to hire someone to finish the basement because we had to take out most of the walls and yeah, it's a mess. Anyway, so I have been very busy, plus all the holiday stuff as well. Anyway, I have finished a few things. I am wearing a finished object. This cardigan I was working on last time, and it's my own design. I think I can't remember what pattern I used for the numbers, but I know I did like the neck, like what you cast on. I chose a pattern that I'd liked before, and just used those numbers and then kind of made it up as I went along. So it's got this texture here. I think it's broken rib is what it's called. And it is I got 4 Colormart cones from a thrift store. Ooh, it's really pilling. And I actually took them off and washed them because I could not stand knitting with that yarn with the spinning oils in it, and it just felt so uncomfortable and hard. And then I held it, this lighter strand is unraveled cashmere that I just held with it to add a little bit of softness and fuzz. And yeah, it's definitely pilling. I should probably shape it. But it's super comfy. I added pockets, which I had to rip back to do because I totally forgot about them until it was too long. And I put some buttons on that I got from a sweater that I unraveled. They're metal, and there's only 4 of them on there because it's got this huge shawl collar, which I probably made too big, but I really like it because I can pull it up and really get cozy in it if it's underneath my coat. So I'm very happy with it, and I think I have quite a bit of this orange left actually. I thought I would use it all up, but it didn't need as much as I thought. Okay, so other finished objects. Last time I was working on these pants, which I finished and added elastic to them. I actually left this open so that I could adjust it if necessary. They fit okay. They're really heavy. 2 strands of sock yarn knitted at a fairly tight gauge. That's a lot of yarn. I haven't actually weighed them, but they're pretty heavy and they tend to start falling down. The elastic helps with that, but I haven't actually worn them out of the house. They're really nice in the house. Actually, I should wear them more because I have been freezing cold lately. Anyway, I made up the pattern from a swatch and a lot of notes on the Stephen West pants. What does he call them? I can't remember. Leggings or the marled leggings. I looked at a lot of notes and saw so many people had to edit the pattern and change it to fit their bodies because Stephen West is a man and he doesn't have the same body shape as a woman. So they had to do a lot of changing. So I just took notes from that and kind of made it up from my gauge swatch. But it was a great way to use up a ton of yarn, like sock yarn that I'd picked up at thrift stores, because I thought I was going to knit socks and I didn't, because I don't really like knitting socks, and I don't wear, like, the hand knit socks that I have tried, they don't feel good in my shoes. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I do like bulky knit socks though for bed because my feet get cold and I can't sleep if my feet are cold. Another thing that I just finished is this granny square blanket. So I have unraveled a lot of sweaters And some of them are just, it's not yarn that I would actually use in a project. This was from a sweater that kind of faded. So you can see in these squares, like it goes from all these different colors, but it wasn't a fade that I could recreate in a pattern without a ton of work rewinding balls and making sure that they worked. And I just didn't want to do that because it's a 70% acrylic, 30% wool. It was a Lane Bryant sweater, and it was like a double XL, so it was a lot of yarn. But I made this perfect lap blanket size thing. I just used a K hook, crocheted 3 squares, and did the join as I go thing. So it was basically you just loop around the whole, and then did a few extras at the corners. And it's perfect. I keep it on the couch and I just throw it over my legs when I get a little chilly, or I lay down and put it on myself when I want to try and take a quick nap, which doesn't happen very often. And let's see, over the last few months, I've made 4 or 5 ribbed hats. I just started, I was trying to use up this, I cannot remember what yarn this was. It's a wool blend that is really, it's really soft, but I just wanted to use it up. I had like 2 skeins and wasn't going to use it for any other projects. I think I bought it for a gift, like to make a baby hat or something. And so I had a little bit of the dark green and the brown left. So I just made 3 or 4 hats. Didn't really like the crown decreases on it. And it kind of sticks up weird if you don't put the hat on correctly, which I don't like. So then, to use up some wool, unknown wool, I don't know how I don't know what this stuff was. I did the Purl Soho Classic Ribbed Hat, which I seem to be seeing a lot on podcasts lately. It's a free pattern, and the top looks quite a bit better than the other one. So it folds up the brim. I'll put it on. And it's super warm, and I think I made 2 of these. And we always keep hats in the car because a lot of times we go to the beach and I don't want to have to pack hats and mitts and everything every time. So we keep all of that stuff in the back of the car in all the sizes. And since these are ribbed, they are easy enough. I can fit them on kids if I need to, just by folding up more. Of course, then halfway down the beach, they're hot from all the exercise, so then I have to carry them. So yeah, I've made 4 or 5 of those, and then I wanted to use up handspun, so I made these mittens and some handspun. I think I got this brown. It's like a silk and merino blend. I think I got it on Amazon a while ago. I don't even have it in my stash or handspun entries on Ravelry, which is kind of unusual for me. I usually enter things right away. And then this braid was from Edgewood Garden Studios on Etsy, and I just spun it straight through the braid and then chain plied it, so all of the color sections are the same. And I did an okay job. Well, not really. I tried to match up the stripes a little bit. So yeah, it started here, it started okay. And then the thumbs, I did have to do some creative cutting to try and get those to match up with where it was. And they are super warm, and they've been washed and not really blocked, just laid out flat to dry. Super warm. I should have worn them this morning to the bus stop because, oh my gosh, it was cold this morning. So that was the other finished object. I think that's it. I did finish a weaving project, a scarf, I think, since then, but I didn't get it because it's just kind of tucked away right now because it's not one that I want to wear. It's more of I'll hold on to this until I find someone who might want it. All right, so knitting works in progress. I've got, so I'm trying to use up some stash, things that have just been in for a while. So I'd found this Manos del Uruguay wool classica, which is like a bulky weight hand spun single ply, at a thrift store. I found 3 skeins of it, 2 in the same colorway and 1 in a slightly darker colorway. So I decided I knit up swatches in Brioche, and it was so amazing, so squishy and soft. So I don't know why I decided to do a sweater in it. I should have done a shawl because then I would be done by now. And I'm holding it. The other yarn is a merino that I unraveled from a Banana Republic sweater. And it is so squishy and soft and amazing. And I'm down, I just finished the second ball on the body. And so I have 1 more to do. I'm going to do the sleeves first. Sorry, I've got wool on my nose. I'm going to do the sleeves first and see how much is left over for the body. And then I might just do the black, some color blocking. It'll probably be pretty cropped, but it'll be super cozy. Or I might just use up the black and make it long so that I can really be warm. Another one to use up stash was, I have this, it looks red, but it's more of an orange. 95% cotton, 5% cashmere. So probably just cotton, because I think all the cashmere has probably pilled out of it by now. It was an extra large sweater and double stranded. I remember it being very annoying to unravel because I had to pull the 2 strands and keep them separate in just piles and hope that they didn't tangle as I tried to wind them into balls. Those sweaters are annoying. Sometimes the yarn is really nice though. So I'm doing a corner to corner blanket. Oh, it does look orange in this. It looks red in person for some reason. So I weighed the yarn before I started, and I started down here, kept going, and then weighed the yarn again. And when I had just about half left, I started decreasing. And I think I probably will have yarn left over because I didn't want to run out, because there's no way to get any more of this. So that's actually going way quicker than I thought. In fact, when everyone was doing the half and half wraps, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much. Why would you do that much knitting? And then I started this because I wanted to use up the yarn, and it has gone so fast because it's just straight knit stitch over and over, and it's perfect for when I can't think of anything else. And this past few months have been so stressful that there have been a lot of days like that. So yeah, and I think I will just put this probably in the closet for gift. I don't have any friends who are expecting babies, but it would make a great baby blanket actually. And then another project is the Snowflake Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I'm making it in Knit Picks Swish Worsted. Also another one I'm trying to use up. I bought a bunch of Knit Picks last year, the beginning of, or 2 years ago. My gosh, I don't know what time it is anymore. Anyway, it's been in my stash and I don't love it. I bought it for something else and then didn't use it. It's nice and soft. I mean, I like that, but I didn't want to knit anything for me. I didn't have enough for me, and the colors weren't something that I would use for myself anyway. So it's for my daughter, size 7-8, and it's the colorway Dove Heather. But I took this to the tire place the other day. We had a flat tire, and I knit around because I'm making it into a dress. And I ran out of yarn while I was there. Thankfully, it was only like 10 minutes before the appointment, the time was done. But yeah, so I will save enough of the heather to do, actually I should start on the sleeves. I have 1 ball of this left, 50 grams. And Yeah, 50 grams. So I should do the sleeves because I wanted to do it long sleeve. And then I have a dark purple in the Swiss worsted that I'm gonna do the skirt in for the dress. My daughter really likes dresses. Of course, she hasn't been asking for them lately. Maybe she doesn't like dresses anymore. Maybe I should just do a sweater. So, but I probably will have to do some of the purple. So maybe I'll do the rib in the purple. I should have done this in the purple. See, this is what comes of just starting a project without a plan. So, yes, this is a nice stockinette in the round project. And I still have, I talked about my Andrea Mowry brioche shawl last time, and I still have that as a project. I'm not sure why I started a brioche sweater instead of finishing the brioche shawl. Don't ask me hard questions. So that one hasn't been taken out in a while. So I didn't actually include that in my whips. Okay, so I took a spinning class last month at my local yarn store, and I've used an e-spinner for years now. I used a spindle like 12 years ago, drop spindling, but didn't continue it because I had a baby soon after that, and then a toddler, and then like it just wasn't something that I felt like I needed to do. And then I bought an e-spinner to ply my unraveled yarns, and I used that for years. And then I started feeling like I wanted to make yarn again, so I bought the fiber and made a few yarns on my e-spinner. This project was made on my e-spinner, and I have quite a few in stash as well. But I wanted to try a regular wheel, so I think it was an Ashford traditional single treadle that I rented during the class, which was okay, but it's so big. Like, it felt like it took up my whole living room. And I loved it. The feel of the treadling and like you have to focus on it more, I think, than on the e-spinner somehow. And it's just more relaxing, and I can just listen to an audiobook or watch podcasts or something. And it's so nice. So anyway, this was all like after our basement had flooded and we were trying to figure out how we were going to pay for stuff and how everything was going to happen. But because our area, the whole area flooded, we were declared a disaster zone and are getting help from FEMA and the Small Business Administration loan thing. So I was like, okay, I think I can get a wheel. And I found someone, I tried a few wheels in the shop, which they don't keep any in stock. You have to order them. And I fell in love with the Magicraft Little Gem, which is not a cheap wheel. But I found someone in the US who stocked it, and I ordered it, and it is beautiful, and it spins amazing, and it's so tiny. And let me grab it. It's like 10 pounds. I mean, it's so tiny. This is a terrible way to show you a spinning wheel. But it's beautiful. And it's so tiny. It takes up no space. And it comes with the a bag to store it in. So I am currently spinning. Seriously, this is the worst way to show a spinning project. I'm spinning these this brownish yellow. It's got a lot of colors in it. I blended a ton of roll legs before my spinner came because I'd made a blending board because I wanted to try woolen prep. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. So I made a ton of these, and I'm spinning them all up. I'm keeping them in croissant things from Costco. So I have 2 of these full of them, and I'm spinning them up, and it's so fun. Okay, I kind of went out of order there because I was going to talk about that as a current spinning project rather than finished one. So up here I have a little basket of recently finished spinning projects. before my wheel came in, I spun up this on the e-spinner. It's now I can't remember if I chain plied it or I think I chain plied it. Let me see. Yes, I chain plied it. From some fiber, an 8-ounce fiber bump that I found at a thrift store, from my local yarn store actually, and it is super squishy. It's just a wool blend. They didn't actually say what kind of wools, but it's so squishy, and I have quite a bit of it, so I'm not sure what I will do with it, but I love knitting with handspun. And then I wanted to try on the blending board, which I made myself from YouTube tutorials. I bought the carding cloth from an online place. You can kind of just search for it and find a few. And then I just stapled it to the top of a TV tray that had some broken legs because I couldn't find a cutting board at the right size. But the TV tray works. So I wanted to see what would happen if I put in scraps of yarn and blended them in with just white wool. So it doesn't work very well because the scraps of yarn don't have enough fuzz to really hold on. So these were just flying everywhere as I spun on my e-spinner. Made such a mess. Then I tried using, like, fluffing up the scraps first. So this is some blue scraps that I added, and it worked a lot better. It was much less messy. So these were kind of experiments, and then this was another one I put in a lot of different colors. Ooh, I really like this one. I should actually make more of this. And these are just 2-plies, I think. I just did 2-plies. I plied them with themselves. So I have just these little test skeins. And then my daughter really wanted to help with the scraps thing. So we did this skein, which is just a ton of scraps, not fluffed up like they should have been, just everywhere. It's really colorful and fun, but I'm not sure how it lit up. I'd have to like tuck in the little pieces and they would be falling out. Like just now when I picked it up, these little pieces came right out. But it was a fun experiment. And I was like waiting on my spinning wheel to come. So I used my e-spinner. My daughter loves making roll eggs, like loves. And then this one is really cool. I bought some art bat bits from Edgewood Garden Studios on Etsy. So I had a few different colors and some sparkly stuff. And so I just did a black merino base, or Corriedale maybe, I can't remember. It was from my felting stash. And my daughter and I just kind of added a bunch of different colors. And it turned out really cool. I need to do more black with blends in it. And then I had made some roll eggs with some, it was like a maroon and some mustardy colors. And there's even some, I had a wool silk blend that I bought on Amazon to try out. So you can see some of the purple in there from that. And we made a few different kinds. My daughter was helping. Ooh, sorry. Just knocked something off and I don't know what it was. She wanted to make all these different things and she never wanted to do it in the same order with each batch. So I just made her stick with the same colors and then plied them up. So it's a 3-ply. So I think one was just the straight, kind of merino. And I'd put little neps in it, tiny pieces of a wool yarn, which totally didn't work. So I basically picked them out while I was spinning and then while I was plying, which definitely added some time to the project. But this was spun on my little gem and plied then. So I got this big skein, which was a full bobbin, And then this one was just the rest on another bobbin. And then I had some leftovers of the maroon that I then plied with some brown that I had spun up when I had the Ashford traditional here. And so I just plied those together. It's really soft. It's probably underspun, but you know what? I've discovered that even if you underspin or overspin, it all knits up the same. Like, it works out fine. Now, for current projects, aside from what's on my wheel, my daughter wanted to do some more Rolegs. Seriously, she is obsessed with Rolegs. And I keep trying to put her off so we don't do anymore until I've spun up the current 2 croissant cases of Rolegs. So this one, I spun up on the e-spinner while I was still waiting for the little gem. And she was just kind of going crazy with it because I had so many little bits from the art bat bits and from my felting stuff of colors I wouldn't use. And so it's kind of a fade. It starts out lighter with some sparkle and then it gets darker and more teal. And I think I might ply it with itself so that the darkest and lightest colors are together. And then it goes to the medium colors at the end. I haven't decided yet. And in fact, I got the Rolegs out of order, and so I have a random bump Roleg of the sparkly lighter stuff in with the darker stuff, which maybe I should take out and reposition. I don't think she'll care. She said she wants a dress with it, which we won't have enough for a dress. And then this was another bump that didn't match with that because it was more blue. So I just spun this up and I tried giving extra twist because I noticed some of my other singles seemed like they were under twisted. So I gave extra twist and I'm going to see what the plied yarn, and I'll just ply this with itself and get a small skein. And I think that's all. I do still have actually some of that brown and some white that I spun. Oh, see, here's one of the little bits that has been falling out. Don't try to do neps with with scraps of yarn. It doesn't work. And so I've got these left that I will actually, maybe I'll spin these together. The white and that. Just get a barber pole yarn. I don't know. And then I need to figure out what projects to do with all this handspun because it's starting to pile up. Yeah, so my goal for spinning is to use up my fiber stash that I have, and I purchased a bunch of undyed fiber because I basically blew my crafting budget for most of the year with my spinning wheel. So I am going to use up the fiber I have, and I have mostly undyed left and some felting stash, which would be probably Corriedale or just unnamed wool. So I'm going to dye some of the wool, which I've done before, and I loved how it turned out. It was so cool to spin it up and see how the colors changed. So I'll be doing that because I have a ton of food coloring and plenty of vinegar. And I also, around the time I got my spinning wheel, I found BZB fibers on Etsy. And I thought I need to try some other types of wool because I've mostly done merino and Corriedale, and I don't think I've tried any others. So I ordered 8 ounces of this Spanish merino, which I just mainly liked the color. Let me take it out of the bag. It smells so sheepy. Like this wool from her smells like a farm. Hopefully some of that comes out because yeah, it's very sheepy. It's really soft. It doesn't feel like typical merino though. It's more, it feels like the fibers are more crimpy, maybe. It's really soft though. So I might do a blend of this with some of my white merino maybe. Ooh, sorry for the crinkling. And then I got a Shetland in just white. So I will dye this probably. And this one is, I should have opened these beforehand. I try and keep all my stuff in bags just in case of bugs. So this stuff, it's pretty short fibers actually. I might do roll legs with this. You can't see that, can you? Nope. It's really soft, but this would probably be best for a woolen prep because the fibers are so short. So I will dye that up and do some roll legs with that. And then I got 8 ounces of Max Loten. I don't know how to say that. Manx Loten? I don't know. It's another brown one because I wanted to try some natural undyed fibers. This one seriously smells like a barnyard. Like, I don't think I've smelled a smell like this since I visited my grandparents as a child, and my dad would shoe their horses. It smells so strong. So I'm hoping that washes out. It's super soft though. Like, I was expecting it to be coarse, but it's really soft. I haven't actually tested the fiber length. Oh, they got some long fibers in there. Yeah. But I do hope the smell dissipates a bit, because yeah, that's gonna be, my son is gonna be complaining about that smell if I'm spinning it in the living room. Maybe I'll save that. Whew, my hands smell like a barnyard. Maybe I'll save that for outdoor spinning in the summer. And then I was part of a swap. These are acquisitions, if you hadn't noticed. I was part of a swap and got sent this very cool skein of Araucania yarns. It's a DK extra fine merino, hand painted. It's really squishy. It's a 3-ply, and it makes me seeing this yarn now that I'm spinning. I'm like, how do they get it so round? I love how round it is, and I want to spin that. Yes, and then the friend also sent me this twice sheared sheep snag-free row counter, which I have seen ads for, and I really wanted to try. This would have been super useful when I was working on the snowflake chart, because I keep track with one of the little push button counters. But my daughter likes to push it extra times when she sees it, so it's not very helpful. So I'm very excited to use this and see if it's helpful. I need to find a charted pattern now so I can try it. Anyway, I think that's it. I feel like I don't know if I've done a lot or not very much. We've had a lot of stuff going on. So, oh, man, I got wool in my nose. I swear it happens to all the podcasters, and I keep bumping this. Well, I am very glad I got this done because I feel like it's been a really long time and I want to continue this. I think that's it. So happy knitting, and I hope you are all having peaceful and relaxing Februaries. This week has felt very relaxing because last week we had jackhammers in our basement all week. So this week has felt very nice and relaxing. So have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll be back next month.